We're continuing our trip of Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and we just wrapped up a really pleasant, a very wonderful water park experience, Wild Wadi, here in Dubai.
Yeah, this is one that's been on our list since we first heard about it. It's located at the Jumeirah Beach Hotel, which is literally a beachfront water park.
And if you are a guest at any of the Jumeirah properties, you get to go to Wild Wadi for free. What a nice plus experience that is.
Yeah, especially because the admission price for adults is approximately $85 a day, which is kind of steep for a theme park. So because we are guests of a Jumeirah hotel, we took the buggy on over, the complimentary buggy from our hotel, and had a nice afternoon, or actually morning and afternoon at Wild Wadi.
Now, it is Dubai, so it does get very warm, up into the low triple digits. It's not unusual to be over 100, 114, 117. And I was concerned about what this water park would be like in the severe heat, and they do a really nice job as far as it doesn't get too hot. They keep it pretty shaded. The water is at a nice temperature. You can stay at a reasonable temperature, not get overheated at Wild Wadi.
Yeah, we've been to quite a few water parks, and some of them are just concrete jungles where you can't dare go barefoot. You feel like you're just melting if you're even just walking down one of the pathways. And this one has a great amount of shade. I think the concrete is a great temperature. We did wear water shoes, but we were one of the few that actually had shoes on.
It's not the biggest water park in the world. It's got a relatively small footprint, but they do a really nice job as far as packing a lot of quality experiences into a smaller footprint. If you look at the videos online, I don't know how well they do at communicating just exactly how good this park is. This has got a lot of nice attractions.
Yeah, I think one of the things I was looking the most forward to was all the water roller coasters and how many different connections they have. For example, the Whitewater Wadi connects to 11 different slides, all while you're on your raft. So you could spend quite an extended period of time just cruising around on the coasters.
Say that 3 times fast. The Wildwater Wadi. What a fantastic experience. Water roller coasters pioneered by the people who brought you Schlitterbahn, and they're fairly common at many different parks, but I don't know that there is a group of water roller coasters grouped together. You spend, according to the video that we shot, you spend about 7 minutes on these water rides going through from one coaster that connects to the other. What a fabulous experience.
Yeah, and it's great because you can do single tubes, you can do double tube riders. You kind of start at the bottom and work your way up, and you just keep going and going. And we've been on quite a few of these water roller coasters at other parks, and sometimes you think that you're going to drag along and you wonder if the thrust of the water is really going to get you up the hill. This one, bum up, as they would say, and you're cruising on up the hills.
That's the thing. These are very powerful jets. I did pull my swimsuit down a little bit, but luckily you couldn't see my backside, so I wasn't mooning anyone. But keep in mind, you may want to pull the drawstring extra tight or wear some extra shorts because those jets are powerful. But on the positive side, the thing about water roller coasters is they're so much fun, you don't want them to be over. And this gives you that extended experience that I've been looking for a long time. I love Whitewater Wadi. What a great idea.
Yeah, that was a great one. Another one of my favorites was Tantrum Alley, which is again another water park which has 3 of the funnels attached to it. You just don't know what's going to happen. We've been on many funnel rides before, but to have a triple was pretty crazy.
You know, again, extending the experience. You go through one funnel in a lot of different parks. 2 would be great, but 3, ridiculous.
Yeah, and following that on the same tower is the Bird Surge, which is, again, probably one of the most thrilling of the double ride, or you could make it a quad, depending on how many are in your party, going down the giant slides. And wow, it picked up some speed, and we were way up on the top, and you literally had to hold on tight the whole time.
So as much as we did enjoy Wild Wadi, I think there are a few issues with maybe some maintenance issues and also some operational issues. So when we rode, first we rode the Bird Surge, and we were told that we had to take off our shoes. Carrie was wearing Tiva rafting sandals, which don't come off because they're rafting sandals. You go whitewater rafting in them, and as fun as the Bird Surge is, it's nowhere close to going whitewater rafting. And long story short, I've got some mobility issues with my feet, and so it helps me to walk because my toes don't grip. I was wearing swim shoes, which again are very tight on the ankles. They're made by Speedo, so they're not coming off either, but for some reason that was an issue. So we took them off, and I would say they do have a place to put your shoes down below, but it's not very well marked. And you're looking at the stairs when you're going up, and the place to put the shoes are on the other side, and I think they're kind of out of mind, out of sight. But anyway, so the one of the operators, the ride operators, told us we had to take our shoes off, and maybe there was a miscommunication. I was under the impression they were going to bring our shoes down, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, it was just kind of confusing. So we got to the bottom, and then there was another tower, plus our shoes were still at the top. So we went back up the tower again. We noticed the woman who in line in front of us, who had taken her shoes off, was getting on the ride that we were going on, had her shoes on and slid down. So we put our shoes back on, and they told us, oh, no, 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 you cannot have shoes on. You could only have on plastic shoes, which didn't really make sense to us at all. So needless to say, I took both of our pairs of shoes. I went back down all to the bottom of the staircase. I dropped off our shoes, and I went back up the stairs. So I guess I got my steps in yesterday.
The issue isn't being made to take off your shoes. The issue is that it seemed to be a very random enforcement of the rules. It didn't seem like her shoes were very attached very well. And on top of that, she also had a GoPro camera that was on a tripod, as opposed to strapped to your wrist or something secure. So it was a bad guest experience in the sense that it felt like rules were enforced for us where they weren't enforced for other people. So I would like to see a little bit more attention paid and maybe a little bit more consistency. If this is a safety issue, I'm completely fine with it, but it just felt like there were some inconsistencies in how these safety rules were applied.
Yeah, and I definitely could see that too. And same with the funny thing we noticed is that we had sunglasses on all day, but when we were riding the water roller coaster, it said no sunglasses allowed, but no one ever said not to wear them. So, oh well, we just moved along with our day.
Everybody was wearing sunglasses, so. But they have a nice wide variety of different attractions. One of the ones that was open but wasn't working was the Flood River, which is an attraction that Carrie and I have ridden in different parks like Schlitterbahn and also at Atlantis, where instead of a lazy river, it's a very active river with sort of a wave pool attached that things go and there's bubbles and things. Unfortunately, it wasn't working, but it wasn't very crowded, so it still made for a nice experience, but it would have been nice if it was maintained.
Yeah, the good thing is that's where actually they had a giant waterfall coming down on our head, and that's where we had some really great photos taken.
Lots of fun there. If you are into the flow riders, if you want to try surfing on those wave riders, they have a couple different ones. They've got the Wipeout Flow Rider and the Riptide Flow Rider, and we saw some people doing some amazing tricks and some other people who, like us, lasted about a tenth of a second.
Yeah, you weren't going to see me trying that because I couldn't have even probably been on it for 1 second without wiping out. It was much more fun to see people who knew what they were doing.
If you have families, they've got a great area for kids. They've got the Juhas Dow and Lagoon and Breakers Bay, which is a mild wave pool. And then right near there, they've got the kids area, like I mentioned, and it's got the bucket on top of the whole play structure. And that bucket fills up and dumps out faster than any bucket I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was fun to watch the little kids there, and that's kind of where we had as our staging area with our chairs. One of the nice things about this park is that you don't have to bring towels, you don't have to rent towels, and they have the towels right there when you arrive. So when we got to the park, we got our wristbands, which they use for admission, as well as taking photos throughout the park, and you got your complimentary towels. So we grabbed a couple chairs by the wave pool, we put up our umbrella, and we were set for the day.
It's a really nice experience. They've got different restaurants, and one of the things I really like when you're on the lazy river going around and just kind of enjoying yourself, they've got different signs, banners up right by the restaurants showing you what each restaurant offers, the differences between each restaurant, and it kind of gives you an idea of the location. So it's a nice way to, one, suggestive sell so they can make money, but also as a guest, it's a nice way to see your options for food.
And the prices were quite affordable. We actually had chicken wraps for lunch, had a couple of Diet Pepsis, and I think our total for lunch was about $35 to $40 for the two of us, which when you're thinking of a theme park, especially a water park where you have no other options, it was rather affordable. Another key thing is we did learn that if you are a hotel guest, then we actually got 25% off our food and beverage, as well as a purchase that we made in the gift shop. Jim got a swim shirt, he needed a new one, and they offered us another 25% off the purchase. So the item ended up being, I think about $40 US at today's rate of conversion, which when you think of what you get charged at any other water park that we've been to where they double the prices because you have no options, it was quite affordable.
The last attraction that I did was the Jumeirah Skira. And this is one of those bombardier racing slides where you get into the chamber, they count down to 3, the floor goes out, and you drop. And it says you go 60 miles an hour, and this is a really tall tower. You go up and up and up. And as I was getting into the chamber, I'm not going to lie, I was a little nervous. I was scared, not because of the height. Water parks don't scare me, but a lot of times these slides, to be honest, they're painful. You pull away from the slide, you bounce, you're jostled all over the place. You've got a huge surge of water going into places that are very sensitive where you don't want all that pressure. These things can be painful.
Well, and the interesting thing is I walked up to the top where the bridge was to go to the attraction to take Jim's shoes from him, and I was going to walk down to the bottom and wait for him and snap a photo when he landed. Well, and the time that it took me to get down to the bottom to where the landing was, I was walking up as he was splashing down, so no photo evidence of him riding it.
So here's the good news about the Jumeirah Skira. This thing is so gentle. You do feel all of the 60 miles an hour or however fast you go, but you stick to the slide the whole time. You're not jostling the whole time. There's no water shooting into soft places and applying too much pressure like a fire hose to the groin. It is the smoothest of this style of drop slide that I've ever been on. It lays you down when you finally stop. It's completely pleasant. A painless experience. So if you've ever wanted to try one of these bombardier style drop slides, I would say that the Jumeirah Skira is the one to go. Super comfortable, very fun. I would ride it again.
And as we were here during low season, because it's currently the middle of September and kids are back in school and they're finishing up kind of their hot time of the year, the nice thing is the park wasn't crowded. We were there at 10 o'clock when it opened. We had no problem getting chairs. We actually did all the coasters within the first 2 hours. We'd pretty much done everything that we were planning on doing, and the park was starting to fill up by after about 12 o'clock. But I could see on a busy day that maybe you'd want to consider getting one of the cabanas. The cabanas are quite nice. They're centrally located. They include soft drinks. And the nice thing is that we noticed on a couple of the attractions where you have to get in line to get onto your slides for the water roller coasters, they actually have a priority line for cabana guests as well.
I think, I don't know why, but for some reason it felt like the people that go to Wild Wadi, they, oh, look at this. Hey, we've got popsicles.
Wait, is that mango?
Mango first one.
Oh.
This one orange.
Oh, that's orange?
No.
That's orange?
Yes, no.
Which one's orange?
Yeah.
I want to try the orange. Whatever works. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you.
how very kind. We got popsicles they're opening for us.
Thank you. That's delicious.
How very fun. Oh, thank you so much. There we go. It's a podcast and popsicles.
Oh my gosh, they're delicious. I think this is fresh fruit.
We're here by the pool at the Burj Al Arab, by the way. We didn't mention that part. That's why we have all of the attendants here taking care of us, and we appreciate it.
That's our next podcast you'll hear will be the report on the hotel.
Yeah, this is going to be a podcast you're definitely going to want to check out. By the way, please like, comment, and subscribe to The Best Trip Ever on SoundCloud, also on YouTube. Also, don't forget to look for The Best Trip Ever on Facebook and on Twitter. So to wrap up with Wild Wadi, what would you say your 3 favorite things are?
Oh, absolutely. The White Water Wadi, just because you wanted to hear me say that again. I love the fact that it connected to so many slides and we got to do that multiple times. I also really enjoyed just the whole atmosphere there, that it wasn't too hot. There was nice shading. It was just a really great adventure to be at. And I would also say, last but not least, would be Tantrum Alley, because going down those triple funnels was so much fun, because I've never gotten that experience to do it. So those are my 3 favorite things. How about you?
Without a shadow of a doubt, number 1, White Water Wadi. To be able to go on so many water roller coasters all in a row. I mean, 7 minutes of water roller coasters. That's a really long ride for any kind of park. A theme park, an amusement park, and at a water park. And to be able to ride water roller coasters that long, and you can do it on your own inner tube where you spin because you're on a looping inner tube like a donut, or you can do like a double coaster, sort of like a bobsled, where you're facing forward with your friend, your partner. It's a fantastic time. Number 2, I didn't think I'd say this, but the Jumeirah Skira. or the Jumeirah. How do you say that?
Yes, Jumeirah
Yeah,
Skira.
maybe it is Skira, but it sounds more like Skara. Maybe that's the pun, but what a fantastic Bombardier-style ride. Smooth, fun, safe, but yet still thrilling. And I also really wanted to like the Flood River. I think that will be a fantastic ride when it's working, but unfortunately it wasn't. But overall, I think I agree with Carrie. I like the overall vibe as far as it's not too hot. They keep the shade. It's just a really well-run. It's a great design for a water park. Not the biggest, but it works really well, and it's not hard to get around. For example, we went to Volcano Bay maybe a year or two ago and didn't really like the layout of that park, and that had me questioning myself, do I still like water parks? And I was wondering, gee, am I getting too old and too fat and too tired to do water parks? And I can proudly say that after going to Wild Wadi, no, I still love water parks. It wasn't me, it was Volcano Bay.
And then just to keep in mind, this park is open every day of the year from 10 o'clock in the morning until dusk, but they do close in January for about 3.5 weeks for a full renovation. So if you're planning a trip and your heart is set, check their renovation date so you're not disappointed.
So all in all, if you get a chance to come, I'm eating a popsicle by the way, if you get a chance to come to Dubai and you want to do a water park, I would absolutely look into Wild Wadi. Again, the price point is a little high. It's not the biggest water park, but I would say that what they put in there is fantastic. It's a great way to stay cool, and it's a fun way to spend the day. I think as far as water parks go, I would put this pretty high on the list. I'm not sure where I'd rate it, but I'd put it pretty high on the list. So again, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to The Best Trip Ever. Please share our podcast or our videos on YouTube. It would really help us out, particularly if you subscribe. And again, if you are going to Dubai and you're looking for someone to help you book your trip, how can people contact you?
Carrie at stellartravel.com, and that's Kari.
At stellartravel.com. So if you're looking to do a water park here in Dubai or this region, check out Wild Wadi, and it can be part of your best trip ever.